Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I am Suzanne Monk, host of Trump Talk, the one and only live Periscope cast, talking only all about one Donald J. Trump. This is a Trump Talk special edition. Trump's energy plan. Now, we tried to do this before Periscope froze up. So if it freezes up again, we'll just do it again. We'll talk about this all day long. I'm happy to talk about it because it's exciting stuff. You can find this on donaldjtrump.com/press releases. There's a lot of great press releases in there. You want to check that out. This is the energy plan release, and we're going to go over a few points that I found very relevant. The first half of it is all about what Obama and Hillary and the Democrats are doing wrong and what they plan to do wrong. We're going to skip all that. We already know what they're doing wrong. We want to find out what Trump wants to do, and there's some great things in that plan. So let's get started on that. First and foremost, point I found very interesting. Trump wants to declare American energy dominance, not independence, American energy dominance, a strategic economic and foreign policy goal. We, for too long, have had government officials who have no idea on how to make money, have no idea on how to use the resources of America effectively, and to help business help America use its resources effectively. We have people who have put regulations and hindrances in to the process. Trump wants to open that up. Trump understands that we have a great deal of resources. We have $50 trillion worth of oil, gas, and coal sitting under our soil. We could be a leader in the world in energy, which is the next point. We could be a leader in the world in energy, but we're hindered by our own regulations. So Trump's going to stop that and make us leading in energy in the world a goal of the United States. Great stuff. He also has declared that we will create total energy independence from all OPEC nations and other hostile nations to the United States. It is unrealistic to assume that we are going to become completely energy independent because energy is a global market, as you know as well as I do. We can certainly produce enough energy to provide for ourselves, and as well, we can certainly produce enough energy to sell to others. But we certainly can't do that if we continue to not produce our own energy, and if we continue to be dependent on OPEC and other nations that are very hostile to us. So it's very important that we will create energy independence, not from the market, but from OPEC and countries that are hostile, that have human rights abuses. We don't need that oil. And we're going to change that policy. So that's great stuff. Number 3, we are going to use the energy revenues to rebuild our infrastructure. It's very important to understand that, hey, you know what? Because I record this and I then videotape it and I use it for other people. So just to answer your little question, thank you for tuning in, but I'm not trying to have a conversation. I'm telling you about this so that other people can hear about it. We're going to talk about energy. So thank you. And let's continue. So energy revenues will be used to rebuild the infrastructure of the country. Now, we all know we have a crumbling infrastructure, and we have had a president who has basically decided we need a tax and continue to bilk the middle class for the money we need to basically ignore the infrastructure because we're not actually taking care of it. With the revenues from energy, from the taxation of that energy, we will be able to rebuild a lot of our infrastructure and probably pay down some of our debt. There's a lot of money to be made in oil that we're just sitting on and ignoring, which is great stuff. How we're going to be able to get access to that is to get bureaucracy out of the way. That means we're going to get bureaucracy out of the way of selling energy overseas. Also on getting bureaucracy out of the way of new technologies and new methods of drilling and mining so that we have access to the energy under the ground. We've had so many regulations that are prohibitive. Trump is going to open those up in order to get to the energy and to make us energy powerful again. As we all know, the economy, agriculture, manufacturing all does very, very well when we have inexpensive energy and we can produce that energy here at home readily available. So, additionally, as we all know, Trump's environmental policy is to have clean air and water, but he doesn't have a whole lot of attachment to the carbon emission problem or any of this UN global warming business. He's not into that. He is into clean air and water and is going to act on an energy policy that focuses on producing energy and maintaining clean air and water, but not playing into this global banker cabal that we've all been made party to. So it's going to be good to find somebody who actually sees through all that. In Trump's first 100 days, these are a few things he plans to do on that front. He plans to rescind the Climate Action Plan and the Waters of the U.S. Rule and other Obama orders. So there's a lot of orders that are limiting energy production and other activities. He's going to end all those. Obama signed a bunch of things that prohibit all sorts of activity that's really just crippled the energy industry. We're going to fix that, and within the first 100 days. 2, we're going to end coal restrictions and other outdated regulations. There are a ton of regulations that are stopping businesses from innovating, that are stopping the coal industry from producing. We're going to end these regulations and we're going to move forward with production. First 100 days. In the first 100 days, we are going to ask TransCanada to renew their application for building the pipeline. Obama sat on that and basically dropped the ball. And what hopefully we can do is get TransCanada to get back interested. The jobs are great. And with the new less restrictions, we're going to be able to start selling oil ourselves. We're going to start be able to sell out of the ports. It's going to be a lot better than what we're doing right now because we certainly have too many restrictions, including restrictions on just piping oil through instead of moving it through on trains, which is far more dangerous, for crying out loud. Open federal lands to energy production. How many times have we said this? The federal government just keeps taking land in the West. It owns most of Nevada, Utah, Colorado. It owns huge swaths of all these states and then forbids any energy production on any of these lands. So there is tons of energy that we're not using because the federal government is basically hoarding it, is what they're doing. And it's a travesty that that's what's happening. So that's not going to happen anymore. We're going to open up energy production on federal lands and get access to the huge amount of energy we have. We've been producing what we have already, amazingly, on a very small number of private lands because that is what the free market does, because innovation in the free market certainly makes people go through the struggle. But if we don't have to struggle and we can just get to the resources under the ground, how much better is that, right? Heck yeah, that's right. Exactly. Additionally, we are going to end regulations on fracking. He's going to end regulations on horizontal drilling. He's going to end regulations on probably shallow water drilling. We're going to get all of this taken care of and put new safety measures in place because newer equipment and newer technology will be able to be used. A lot of things are being kept unsafe so that the environmental green nuts can say, look how unsafe it is. When in fact, if they would allow innovation and newer technologies, it would get safer and safer, and we'd produce a ton more energy, and we wouldn't have to take it from countries that do horrible damage. And we wouldn't have to sell it all to China, who just burns it and makes smog. Just gonna point that out. So, he also will cancel the Paris Climate Agreement and end, I love this one, you guys, end payments to the UN Global Warming initiative or whatever the global warming fund. We're not going to pay for it anymore. He's going to end payments to that immediately. Yeah, I'm very excited about that too. Thank you. It's one of the greatest things ever to finally have a candidate who is not going to fall for this European scheme, banking scheme, and actually go back to producing clean energy that America needs. Trump's plan includes all forms of energy, but it includes forms of energy that are viable. Not just because they are green are we going to continue to subsidize energy. We're not subsidizing. We're going to do nuclear again. We're going to do coal again. We're going to do clean coal. We're going to do natural gas. We're going to do solar and wind as they are financially viable. There's no sense in dumping thousands and millions of dollars into wind farms that then just kill eagles and don't produce the energy even to pay for themselves. So finally we have a candidate who understands that when I put solar panels on the top of my hotel, it takes 30 years for those to be worth it. And so he's not just going to dump a bunch of our taxpayer money into green energy fantasies, right? Exactly. So from these plans, there will be let's just talk about some numbers for a minute. A $700 billion increase in the annual economic output of the country over the next 30 years. That's just increasing productivity in manufacturing and agriculture. Over the next 7 years, there will be a $30 billion annual increase in wages over the next 7 years due to that increase in output and in the jobs that are available in the energy sector. And over the next 40 years, there will be $40 trillion in new economic activity and $6 trillion in new revenue, in new tax revenue. So there are trillions of dollars there just in the beginning of the plan as we move forward, and we certainly can use that to rebuild infrastructure, to pay down debt, and to continue to, how do we say that? Oh yeah, make America great again. There's a lot more information on Trump's plan, DonaldJTrump.com/press releases. Go take a look at it. There's a bunch of great press releases, but this energy plan has got some good stuff in it, and you should take a look at it. But for now, for me and little Trumpy, it's a late night. We're going to hit the hay and dream about making America great. Vote Trump. You can find us here on the Trumpetarian, TrumpTalkUS@gmail.com, or here are our videos, all www.trumptalk.us. Grab my book, The Semi-Essential Trump Supporters 2016 Election Survival Guide, on Amazon, $3.99. Have a great night, everybody.